Okay. Welcome to Activate Millions with your messaging. You are warmly, heartily welcome to this masterclass. Today, we are going to learn how to curate your own messaging. And my intention for creating this masterclass is I have been a marketer for almost 6 years now. And I've noticed that many, especially in the coaching industry, so many coaches who want to use their personal brand for connecting with their audience, they try to find so many formula, tricks, scripts, I help statement, mission, vision, so many things to curate their messaging because everyone knows messaging is super important. It is the foundation of your brand, it is the foundation how your offers sell, your launches do. It's literally it's like it can make and break your sales, your the revenue in your business, to be very honest. But then the sad part is when I see coaches, especially personal brands, even service providers who present themselves as personal brands, they keep looking for that formula. They keep looking, what is my I help statement? They invest their time in creating a bio, and they invest their time in SEO. They want to be searchable, which makes sense. All of that makes sense. But the weird the weird and the best part is it doesn't have to be that tough. When I work with my private clients and they come to me with this question that what should be my bio, what should I put in my Instagram name so that people can search me easily, and I'm found by my ideal clients, I tell them that's going to be the last thing we do. I literally show them examples from some really popular personal brands and coaches who literally have nothing in their bio except their name, and they are making millions. And it's not a coincidence that they are making millions. It's not even the fact that they have been doing this for 10, 20 years. Those are the people who've been doing this as long as you have been doing, 2 years or 3 years or 1 year, or some of them even have started like few months ago. And they have reached that high 6 figure, 7 figure, even 8 figure level because they have nailed their messaging to a point where in their bio they can just write their own name or write something like mom to two boys or love my cat, dog mom, and still Fiona is getting it. I have so many such examples, and I've worked with those clients. I've worked with extremely successful coaches, entrepreneurs, personal brands, and I've helped them do this with their messaging. And that is the power of your messaging. And it is not hidden in any formula, in any script, in any I help statement, also not in any SEO searchable name that you put, that we see that people focus on for their Instagram bio. But how does it work? Because when I say this to people, they are like, I don't think you're right. I don't think this works. We need to have searchability for our bio. There is a reason that space given over there. There is a reason why so many people have courses about it. They sell thousands of dollars of courses on how to write a good bio. So are they all doing it wrong? And I say, they're going the hard way. There is nothing right or wrong, but that is actually the hard way. I'm giving you an easy way. My entire intention is how to make it easy for you, because I know we are, and especially because you guys are in my audience, you are here to make a difference. You are here because you really care about the work that you're doing. The money factor, the revenue factor is something that is not higher than the difference that you want to make. The difference you want to make in your clients' lives or with your business, even in the world, is at par with the revenue and the success, if not above it. So this is why I want to teach my method of activating your ideal audience with the kind of messaging I want to teach here in a very short, easy way, which is going to work with everyone. And let's get the first point of it. So first of all, your messaging is not your I help statement. It's not your mission. It's not your vision. It's not even how you say the transformation that you bring for your client, because transformation is it's all about your offer, the result your offer will bring. It's not your messaging. I'll let that sink in, because I know a lot of coaches say that talk about the transformation, talk about the result. The result they will get is why they will buy. But that has all to do with sales. But even to get to that point, what is your messaging? Messaging cannot be directly about the result or the transformation, because even for your ideal audience to look at that transformation, to realize that transformation, they have to be at a certain level, at certain level of connection with you. And that, to get them to that level of connection, is your messaging, is not the transformation. So what is that messaging is first the journey. What theme do you give to that journey? That is number one. What story do you give to that journey? How do you define, for example, you want to sell luxury. What is luxury to your ideal client? What does success look like to your ideal client? What does this journey of the work they will do with you, what does that look like? Does it look like women empowerment? Could be for some people. Does it look like slaying shame or taboo, or talking about taboo topics? Could be that. There are many people who, because that's a journey, that's not a transformation. You can't say that today I have slayed all the shame in the world, all the taboo is gone, or I've empowered all the women in the world, or I have changed parenting in the world. That's not a transformation, it's a journey. And that's where your messaging lies, which is where a lot of people miss out on. So that's number one thing that I would like to say, the journey. And how much are you able to connect stories with that journey at every step? Stories are very important for your messaging, because not just your story, even your client's story, or the stories you observe in your industry or around you, how you connect all of those with the journey that your ideal client is in. Let's take an example, a real example. Can you put in comment what is the journey your ideal client would like to be in? What are they in this journey for? Women empowerment, or maybe experiencing abundance, luxury, or slaying religious trauma or taboo, or anything. Just what you think your ideal client or audience is in the journey of. Can you put in the chat? And I'll actually help you get your messaging right now if you're able to put it. It's less about the transformation, more about that journey, that theme, that path they want to walk on. It could be feminine leadership, or it could be how to, how to operate your business with ADHD, because you can't really overcome ADHD. You create a journey with it. Robert says car care with confidence. Okay, I like that. Let's take that as an example. So Robin, can you tell me what is car care with confidence? What does that care look like? Because that is a very good point. Caring is a journey. It's not something that, it's not a transformation. It's not a result. It's a journey. So Robin, can you tell me in chat, what does that look like? Caring for car for women, like I'm assuming this is women that you work with. So how do women, your ideal clients who are women, they care for their car with confidence? Can you give me maybe one or two lines? If not, I'll just curate something with what you've given me. From not knowing how to open the hood to being able to change a tire. Wow, I love that. That's, see, you created your messaging. I can hear some. Oh, it's Virginia. Virginia, please can you mute yourself? We can hear some background noise. Thank you. Okay, so we have a journey here already where Robin is talking about the women she helps. They, now we'll get to the next layer with this. How do they feel when they're not able to open the hood of a car? Can you tell me, Robin? What is their feeling? Do they feel embarrassed, shame, or do they feel that unworthy when they're, or do they feel dependent on someone because they're not able to open the hood of their car? What is that feeling that your person feels? Because all these examples that I've given, scared, amazing. So scared for what? Scared for safety, or scared for that they have to depend on a man to do this for them, or scared that like they'll get ripped off. Amazing. So it's a, now see this emotion that we have, it's a journey that they have to, they have to become friends with, that they have to kind of, they have to walk with. because they, even though they get to the stage, as you said, from not knowing how to open the hood of a car to being able to change a tire, it's likely that when they even reach that level of changing a tire of a car, they'll still feel scared, because that emotion is a journey. And how, going from every point in this journey, like maybe after knowing how to change, how to open their hood, maybe they know how to switch on their wiper on the window, or maybe they know how to, um, can you tell me what is the next step that someone does? Because I don't know a lot about cars. Micro step. What is the next micro step? After they understand how to open the hood, what is the next micro step, like the mini step? Okay, identify fluids. So see, these are all mini steps. So at every step, that feeling of being scared, that feeling of being ripped off is still, they do still have that emotion. But how at every level they are overcoming it, and it's a continuous journey. It's a continuous journey how they're overcoming it. And this journey is your messaging. So what you said in line, from not knowing how to open the hood to being change a tire, that is the transformation. But in that journey, how they feel, you have given me that example over here. They feel scared, they feel like they'll be ripped off. So what are the micro steps that look like? You've given me that as well. So when you create stories around those micro steps, how they are creating actually something bigger than caring for their car. When you give them that vision, how when you learn to identify fluids or learn to open the hood of a car, it's not really about opening the hood of a car, it's about your independence. It's about you standing up for yourself. Maybe I'm just giving examples, standing up for yourself. Or it's how you feel that you don't have to depend on any other mechanic or any man to drive your car, because you are adept to do that yourself. See, confidence and independence, yes. So this is your messaging. You derive confidence and independence to the women in your circle through car care. And now you're giving them a bigger vision. That bigger vision is a messaging. And every story that you create in this journey is related to that. Now I'll tell you how you curate stories. This is the third part of this angle. When we, now a lot of coaches say create vulnerable stories, share your vulnerable stories. I do agree with that, but partially. I say every story has to be about your ideal client or resonate with them. So even if I share my vulnerable story, it's not going to help my brand if there is no connection between that story and this emotion that you've given here, confidence and independence. So if you, Robin, have a story, a vulnerable story that got you in this work that you want to share, you have to understand that story needs to have a connection with this emotion that you've written in chat over here. Then it becomes your messaging. Otherwise, it's just a story. It's a story where people maybe comment, they engage with, but it will not activate them to take an action, maybe to buy from you or maybe to sign up for your email list. That activation is what we are here for. And this is how we create that messaging that really activates them. This is majority of people what they miss out on. They create stories because people teach them that create vulnerable stories, talk about your stories, but they don't work. You have to create stories that have relation with this what you've written in the chat, the confidence, the independence, how they feel scared, how every micro step they take in this car care is actually bigger than the car care. It's not just car care, it's changing many other areas of their lives as well. So that is the messaging which actually activates. Can you tell me in chat how so far you're all feeling about this? I have few more pieces to share about this. Oh, thank you, Amelia. Hi. Thank you, Robin. Okay. So now this piece, I have said how you connect your stories with that feeling that you've written in chat. The journey. The feeling is the journey because you can never overcome that feeling. Now, the other part is recognize what stage they are at. Now, maybe with Robin, your stage, your ideal client is scared. because they don't know how to open the hood of a car. They're at that stage. So recognizing what stage of emotion they're at, that helps you create your messaging from that. Like it's like the first point of contact, where you create that vulnerability, where you create that they are seen and you are understanding them. So a good storyline for something like this, which forms your messaging, is I understand how maybe you have a message in your maybe you have a story in your life when you felt scared, where you were not able to operate a car, like you are not feeling independent or dependent on some other man, and how that has relation with your other areas of life or family dynamics, where you had to drop your kids to school but you felt like I can't do that because I don't know how to operate this car, and you felt as a mother, I'm not feeling like a great mom today because my kids are late to the school, but I can't drive them because I don't know how to operate a car. Just giving an example. So, yeah, exactly. Running late and the car won't start. So, that is the feeling that the messaging comes from. So, that is the third part, the fourth part of this equation that I'm talking about, how you relate to what stage they are at. That also becomes part of your messaging. And when they can, and now imagine I talked about the story and someone reads it who's exactly at that stage, they get activated to overcome it. So that activation, this is the fourth stage, where how you use your messaging to activate them. And then you make this messaging your brand, because your messaging becomes your brand when you repeat it again and again. It's a known fact. When we watch these TEDx videos, these are some of the greatest speakers who speak on stage on TEDx. They speak roughly 18 to 20 minutes. That's how much a TEDx speech bandwidth is given to each speaker. But do you know, before that, they have to practice 200 times to give that 18 to 20-minute speech. And I know this because one of my clients was a TEDx speaker and she was rehearsing while I was while I was working with her, and I helped her write a speech and then she delivered it. And your message, when you are a TEDx speaker, has to be repeated a number of times, because that message, when you repeat it a number of times, it becomes your brand. Take an example of Jay Shetty. I'm sure everyone knows Jay Shetty over here. What is his message that became his brand? His message right from the beginning was former monk who's here to bring spirituality to the modern life. So that former monk bringing spirituality to modern life, that's a message, because he wants to connect with people who are trying to bring spirituality to modern life, because they can't see that relation, how spirituality can be practiced in a modern lifestyle. So they are at that stage. He connected that messaging and he repeated it so many times, it's become his brand. And that's exactly what TEDx speakers do. That's what high level brands do, especially personal brands. If you have any questions, please drop them in chat. If you have any, like if you don't agree, I'm open to that also. You can put that in chat as well. And so, yeah, there are so many such examples where these big brands, personal brands, have used their messaging a number of times to make it their brand. And that is the connection between your messaging becoming your brand, by repeating it again and again in every story that you share. You just don't say it once. You connect that message in every story that you share, it becomes your brand. That is the fifth aspect of this. And that's how people get activated. He has, now taking Jay Shetty's example, he has used so many stories and connected with that former monk bringing spirituality to modern life. So many, from his own stories, his client stories, even the podcast interviews that he used to do with Huffington Post. He would literally take any and every story and make connection to that message with all these points that I told you. It became his brand. From now, your perception about messaging is completely going to change. When you watch a TEDx speech, you'll see how many times they are relating the same messaging from different angles and different stories, or even different information pieces they are putting in that speech, which ultimately becomes their brand. And that is how you really, really activate your audience. So this is the last part, the sixth part that I want to talk about. Okay. Thank you. The sixth part that I want to talk about is bringing it all together. Now, all the five parts that I have shared, they have to be congruent, they have to be cohesive with each other. The part where first I said you share your stories and then you recognize what stage they are at, how your messaging is a journey. It's not the transformation that your client is looking for, because they first have to be in the journey. So all of these pieces, where you bring them together, that is literally where you nail your messaging. Let's take another example. Give me any example, any known personal brand, your favorite personal brand. I'll break it down for you in these 6 steps that I have just said. If not, I'll just create something on my own if you don't give me an example here. Someone that I might also know. Okay, Amelia, I would love to do yours. Yes, Amelia is my private client. And I love her work. She is love and relationship coach for feminine leaders, sacred feminine leaders, and she does amazing work. She's been doing this for over a decade, and she's doing my coaching as well. And very good example. Amelia, thank you for volunteering. Let's take your example. So Amelia's messaging first. Amelia, what the first step that I told in this part was not talking about the transformation, but the journey. Because we know the feelings that they feel, it's going to be always part of the journey. It's going to be there. So what does your ideal client feel before they decide to work with you? What do they feel normally? One word.
Lost.
Yes. So they feel lost, or maybe they feel like other words like broken or not good enough. That's why they feel they don't have a relationship yet. That's a feeling that has so many more connections than just being single. And getting, you and I both know, being in a relationship will not solve that problem of feeling lost, because they can get into a relationship and still feel lost, broken, not good enough. That can happen. You and I both know that. So the transformation is not what we use in the messaging. We use the journey of, creating that relationship with this feeling of void, lost, broken, not good enough. That's the first step. Now we try to curate stories. We either take stories from your life or anonymous client stories or things that you observe in your environment. This part I can see that you do good with. The second part, you already have.
I do. I have no idea. Like all of this is like a new alphabet to me. So just, yeah. But thank you.
You have so many good stories that you share. The only part that I would like to, improve about that is connecting that with this journey. And when we sell the transformation, it's more of the offer and it's more of that short-term sale that we're looking for. But when we are building your brand, the messaging as such, which leads to automatic sales, like you don't even have to sell. Because when you're talking about the transformation, you are putting efforts into selling. But when you've done good work with your messaging, it's effortless. People just buy. And we know so many such brands where we just buy from those brands because we resonate so much with their messaging, their the journey that they're talking about, and very less about transformation. So many people buy without even seeing the features of the offer. So many programs we buy like that, where we don't even see the features of the offer. We know that this person is selling. I know there's something good going to be there in this program, and I know this is the price that I can afford. Let's get in. So many times that happens because it's because of the way they activate you about that journey. So now in your case, the journey is this relationship with being lost or broken. Now, when you curate stories, maybe from your own life, let's take your own story. You talk about your introduction where you were going through this journey where you felt you can never be in a happy relationship, never find your soulmate, went on 500 dates, and then you met, then finally you met your husband and you've been married for 14 years. That's a good story, but where is the journey in that story? What is the connection with this journey that your ideal client is feeling with your story? That is the piece where your messaging comes in, because without that piece your ideal client will feel, oh, it's easy for her, she got it done, but maybe I'll never have that for me. They feel like that, that yeah, it happened for her because she's special and she did a lot of personal development before that. She got certified before that and she learned so many courses, but maybe for me that's not possible.
So I have to connect to the feeling, like, so then I don't tell them you could have this marriage too. But if you're feeling lost right now, then here's a story about when I was feeling lost.
Yeah, your feeling.
Really? Okay, okay,
It's
okay.
not relatable to them. And this is a huge feedback I get from, because I worked with love coaches prior and I was also in that category of audience where I was single, and I used to see these examples of love coaches showing off their husband and see, now we were single and we thought we'll never find our soulmate and now we have our soulmate. And I would feel like, yeah, because you look so pretty. Or I would feel for another coach, yeah, because you are so wise. I'm not wise. I'm not pretty. I'm not thin like you. I don't have that figure like you. So it's easy for you to find your man. For me, I can't find my man. Why? Because they were talking about the transformation, not the journey of feeling like I'm not good enough. But do you know why I selected you to coach me? Because when I heard your episode on Peter King's podcast, you were talking about your journey, how you felt lost, how you felt like, like you're not going to get your soulmate. And then you found. So that journey was more the focus in there, less of the transformation. I connected with that. And then I didn't feel like I can't do this. I felt I can do this. And that is true for literally every business in the personal brand, coaching, service providing area. People mostly try to sell with the transformation, which is important. I, as a marketer, always say that transformation is important. But what about the journey? The messaging part is actually the journey part, not the transformation part. The sales comes with the transformation, but the messaging which leads to the sale is about the journey. Now, the third aspect is when you constantly, now we were talking about the TEDx part, where you repeat that journey, not in terms of lost, but the feeling of that loss, the reason, the root causes of feeling that loss. Maybe they had difficult childhood, or maybe they were abandoned many times. The fear of abandon that leads to the feeling of lost. When you relate that journey with several stories that you share, it becomes your brand, same as what I told you about Jay Shetty. Then the sales becomes super easy because your audience is already activated. Otherwise, what happens? Your audience will engage. They will say, like, amazing, such a good story, but they'll not buy because they're not activated. Yeah. So the whole message, and I think I've told all parts. And yes, the other part that I've missed out is where, what does the transformation look like for them? This is where the transformation does come in the messaging. Like I was telling in the beginning, what does success look like for your client? Or what does luxury look like for your client? If you're selling luxury, if you're selling the success in their business, whatever, depending what you're selling. In Amelia's case, her transformation is sacred union, attracting their soulmate. But what does that feeling look like, that once you're with your soulmate, how would you feel?
You're home.
That's your messaging. So it's less about attracting your soulmate, more about feeling complete, more about feeling at home. And so many women don't understand this. That's why they are not activated, because they know they want a soulmate, but they don't know why. But once you tell them why, that this is this journey, this feeling of feeling complete, being home, that's where your messaging comes in and they're instantly activated. Like, I want that feeling. Yeah, she's right. So yeah, this was an example, and this is a short snippet of how I work with messaging, where you literally can, if you want, you can literally skip your bio, SEO, all the marketing funnels and strategies that people teach, but literally lead with these 5 or 6 steps that I taught today. Sales will become so easy for you. Not just sales, but also giving that transformation to your client, because our work doesn't end at the sale. Our work starts at the sale. And then we are responsible and accountable for the transformation becomes easy when you are calling in the right people with the right messaging, because they're activated. We already want activated ideal clients. Now tell me, out of everyone who's watching here, how many of you would already want activated clients? We all. So this is literally the shortcut. And if you don't agree with me, it's okay, you can tell me in chat. Or it might, because I know I've worked this from so many angles that I know this works from so many angles, which is why this makes your sale easy. And it's not even about sale. This is literally how you becoming a change maker. You are giving them the journey and the transformation within the journey, especially as coaches, service providers in this field that we are in. We know that just that one success, that one goal, reaching that one goal is not the end game. It's the journey. I worked with an ADHD coach, helping her sell her program. And this was the same case with her. She was trying to sell the transformation that you'll no more feel the jitters, and you will be able to focus in a meeting. You'll be able to have a conversation on a date without interruptions or without losing your train of thoughts. But it's a journey. That is not the one time result an ADHD person will relate to. They'll relate to the journey more of how they feel when they lose the train of thought, where they're not even able to have a conversation of maybe more than 5 minutes. And that's where everything changes, where you start calling in already activated clients. So if you all like this, I would love to invite you all for my cash injection challenge, which is literally starting. The pre-game is starting on Monday, and the actual challenge will start on 21st March. It is $222. It's going to be 3 full weeks of us doing this and so much more. So this messaging part is going to be week 1, and week 2 is going to be about your offer and positioning, because how you position your offer also matters in your launch, or even selling without launches. Because I say, when you want to sell without live launches, that requires this kind of positioning and messaging, where it becomes easy and you don't have to do the live launch style. It's exhausting to do it all the time. So that's going to be second week. The third week is going to be your energetics. I actually made notes here to tell some things, where Amelia and I were actually discussing this yesterday, how every launch is different, and what is the mindset you you are supposed to enter every launch with, which makes things fun and easy and experimental. So the third week is all going to be about the mindset and the energetics, where you test the messaging and the positioning that we do in the first 2 weeks with that embodiment, with that mindset. So that's the 3 weeks that we are going to work. It's going to be hands on, because if you can see, in literally 39 minutes, we have covered already 2 examples. There's going to be so much more in there in 3 weeks. We are going to have a Zoom session like this once a week. So that's going to be 3 such Zoom sessions. And the remaining days of the week, we're actually going to implement. So you're going to implement, show me in the private group where I give you feedback, and then you implement the feedback. So it's going to be all interactive. It's not like you listen to me and then it just stays in your computer forever. That's why I made it a challenge. I could have easily made it a course, but I made it a challenge because I want you to apply it with me, implement it with me, and get results while we are in this 3 week container. So I will drop the link in chat. If you have any questions, you're most welcome to ask me. This is just a small bit, maybe like 5% of what we are going to do actually in the challenge. Amelia is already part of it and she's excited. Robin is part of it already. Meghna is already part of it. So we already have people who, I can't wait for it. Thank you. This is the link. And this is what it's like. Apart from this, if you want to book a one-on-one call with me, just like a breakthrough call, 60 minutes call, it's going to be a paid call. We can talk about it, what we can cover in that paid call. But that's an option too. However, I do suggest join the cash injection challenge if you want more of this that we just talked about implemented, because this is going to be very, very transformational in just short span of 3 weeks. I'm open to your questions, not just about the cash injection challenge, but even about the whole topic we discussed today. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you, Robin. You can ask me any questions in the chat about messaging, launch, or what you are doing right now with your launch, or in general about cash injection challenge, what your questions or thoughts are, if you have any. Otherwise, we are done for the masterclass, and I would love to know how you guys felt.
Hey Devika, it's me Meghna.
Hi, Meghna.
Yeah, I don't have any questions right now, but I really want to say something to the people who's gonna watch this. If you are sharing this for free, like this 30 minutes was a bomb session, and I can't really wait to, be in the 3 weeks challenge. I'm so excited. If you guys thinking to join this or not, please take my suggestion and join this. Yeah,
Thank you so much, Meghna. That was so sweet of you. I'm so excited to start this with you guys. And thank you so much for joining me here in this session. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you guys soon in the group. Bye.
bye.